Beloveds, if you are here, chances are you've already felt that tug in your gut, that whisper, something that says something is not right about this story about Mary Magdalene that I have been hearing all my life. And if you were to say that, you would be absolutely right. Because only recently the world started to uncover the truth. And it's so much bigger, deeper, and more world shifting than anyone ever prepared you for. Mary Magdalene was not the prostitute the church labeled her. She was not a fallen woman redeemed by a man. She was not a footnote in Jesus' life. She was likely a trained priestess, a spiritual equal, and one of the few who actually understood what Jesus was teaching on a mystical level. And yes, I get it. That's mind blowing. It's also pearl clutching and paradigm shifting. Why didn't anyone tell us this sooner? Kind of information. But here's what I want you to hear clearly. The deception of the church is only half the story. The real shock is what Jesus was actually teaching. Because underneath the dogma, the politics, the patriarchy, and the rewritten history, there's an unfiltered truth that changes everything. Jesus trained Mary to overcome the 7 powers, what later traditions called the 7 deadly sins, or what you may have heard in the gospel referred to as the 7 demons, what psychology now calls an ego patterns, what spiritual science calls obstacles to ascension. It's all basically the same thing, it's just worded differently. Jesus wasn't preparing her to be a servant or a shadow in his story. He was preparing her to continue the work, the real work, the inner liberation, the healing of trauma and shadow, the remembering of the soul, and the ascension of consciousness. And she did. She carried this message through Asia Minor and into Europe, teaching circles of women, initiating the early mystical Christians, and preserving a lineage the world wasn't ready for. Until now. Until you. So in this 7-day journey, we're not just learning about Mary. We're stepping into the same initiatory process that she went through to clear herself of 7 demons so that she could ascend when it was her time. Each day, we touch one of the foundational teachings that Jesus entrusted to her. Those are clearing our shadows, dissolving our egoic patterns, reconnecting with our intuition, reclaiming the body as sacred, healing our relationships, breaking generational wounds, and rising into our highest expression of our soul, the place Jesus referred to as the kingdom within. Because at the end of the day, what we're all seeking, whether we call it enlightenment, wholeness, sovereignty, liberty, peace, or ascension, it's all the same thing. We all want to feel free in our lives, to stop living from fear and survival, to stop repeating patterns of the same emotional patterns, to love without losing ourselves, to speak without shrinking, to stand in our truth without apology, and to rise into the women we always knew we could be. That is what this journey begins to open for you. And if these 7 days ignite something inside of you, if you feel that spark, that remembering that I know there's more for me than the life I've been living, then inside of our membership, you will be so happy to meet others in the Magdalene Network just like you. When we're in the Magdalene Network, we work on the actual next step in the phase is the alchemy, where we actually dig in. Once we learn all of once we learn what Jesus was talking about and we can decipher it, because he did use language that would was only the spiritually mature could understand. And he spoke parables to everyone else, so they still got some information out of it. But the real mystical spiritual message was right underneath. So we work through that, and then we create the alchemy, which is the clearing, the healing of the nervous system, the shadow integration, the soul voice activation, the path that moves you from awakening to transformation to ascension. But for now, beloved, we begin here with remembering, with the truth Mary preserved for you, with the doorway she held open for 2,000 years, waiting for women who were ready, and you are here. So let's begin.